Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Benjamin Paris alongside Matthew Anderson here on the campus of Mullen High School in Denver, Colorado. We're here for Cherry Creek and Mullen 5A Colorado football. Matthew, we're 3 minutes in this game due to technical difficulties, which we apologize for. Tell us what's happened this far.
Yeah, so just a little bit of a quick summary. Mullen received the ball to start the game, and they opened with a 4th and out, no yards on any of their plays. They punted. A Cherry Creek lineman tipped it, and then another Cherry Creek lineman fielded the punt but dropped the punt, in which case the fumbled ball was recovered by Mullen. So Mullen now had the ball around their 50. Mullen again with a 3rd and was set up for a 4th down, but a 4th and 10, but Creek committed pass interference, which then gave them another 10 yards. Mullen then on their next plays not able to do anything, and now we see them punting here.
So as that punt will go into the end zone, the touchback called. So Cherry Creek will take over.
Yeah, so that first drive was really not good play for either of those teams. Mullen could not get anything done. All their yards came off of Creek there. But again, for Creek, that's a bad thing because for Creek, all their yards came off of themselves. So, Creek has been playing error-free football, and Mullen hasn't been able to get anything done.
And the clock has been running now for about 45 seconds after that punt. And the clock has not stopped as the officials will have to communicate with the booth. So here comes our look at Cherry Creek offense will come out here for their first drive of the game, led, of course, by Julian Hammond, who has had quite an impressive start to this junior campaign for him.
Absolutely. We found a very intelligent quarterback in Julian Hammond, and especially, watching him match up against Doherty's quarterback and Santa Margarita's quarterback, Santa Margarita's backup quarterback these past 2 weeks. We've really found that Julian Hammond is a guy who is not only athletic, but he's a guy who's intelligent as a quarterback. He can look for receivers truly like not many other high school quarterbacks can, and he's someone who we may see, experience some college offers because he does seem to, ring of Alex Badia.
So while things are getting figured out here with the scoreboard here at Mullen, I'd like to apologize for our broadcast for our lack of scoreboard tonight. Got some updates running. We'll keep you updated on that, but looks like for the meanwhile right now we'll be running without a scoreboard. So 7:56 is the official game time. Cherry Creek here in the first quarter. So we look at these teams. Cherry Creek, of course, ranked 2nd in the state after that win over Santa Margarita. Valor Christian, the #1 team in the state last week, actually picked up a loss, which led to Columbine becoming the #1 ranked team in the state, ahead of Cherry Creek there. And, of course, Mullen ranked outside of the top 10. I don't have the official ranking with me right now.
They should be ranked around 20th in the state, according to some online analytics programs, but again, not officially ranked.
As that one goes to Dante Orlando. The Bruins, 1 play, 1 first down. Good start.
Yeah, absolutely, especially going back to those rankings, what we see is early in the season they are very unable to predict how the season will actually end up folding out. Creek and Mullen both have played Doherty, though, and if they've played the same opponent, it can be a good indicator of how good those teams are. And both teams played Doherty and won with a shutout win. Oh, sorry, not a shutout win, but a very, very large win. But Creek won by a larger margin than Mullen.
As Hammond's passes look to be intercepted as the ball hit the ground first, and it's ruled incomplete. But man, that was right in the hands of the Mullen defender. So in Julian Hammond's 2 games, he has thrown for 398 yards. That's right around 200 yards a game, which is quite impressive for the amount that Creek has relied on their run game. Of course, headed by Gerald Stacks.
Yeah, Julian Hammond is a truly gifted quarterback, but you know, a gifted quarterback can't be great without players around him who are also gifted, and we have a great set of wide receivers here and a very strong offensive line that's really been able to protect Julian Hammond and give him the time he needs in the pocket to be making those intelligent decisions that he's so capable of making.
So as we have 7 minutes left here in this first quarter, he's going to drop back once again and find Dante Orlando once again on the near sideline, which will be good for another Cherry Creek first down. So it's a play we've seen twice as Hammond just slings it over to Orlando at what it looks like on an out route.
Yeah, Hammond's got an arm. He's very accurate, and Orlando can separate. That's a perfect combo for any play.
So another 1st and 10 as it looks like Cherry Creek is on their own 46-yard line. As the handoff now will be stopped as soon as it's given. And a short gain there for the Bruins, if it is a gain at all.
Stop made for the Mustangs by Aiden Kiana.
So 2nd and 10 now. As Hammond will drop back once again. Finds Orlando, and that one just off his hand as he was reaching out, incomplete. So 3rd and long for the Bruins. A place where they don't have any nerves, and you know, a lot of football teams, it's 3rd down, you got to convert, but really the Bruins have been in 4th down territory really most of the season.
And they've been able to convert a surprising number of times on those 4th downs. I really chalk it up to their play call here. It's a very intelligent play call, and Julian Hammond is able to recognize things at the line and, you know, adjust his offense as necessary, which is something that is truly unique for a quarterback.
And as a Mullen lineman look to just have a head start, I think we should be moving 5 yards forward. So the 3rd and long just turns in to 3rd and 5. And as you talk about play calling, we could talk about Cherry Creek head coach Dave Logan, who was a head coach at Mullen High School, winning a number of state championships there before he joined the Bruins. I think that was 5 or 6 years ago. Of course, this has always been a storied rivalry, as it was part of the Great American Rivalry Series last year at Cherry Creek, where the Bruins got the W. As Hammond's going to roll out here to our near side. And he finds a juggling Gunnar Helm, who's able to haul it in and get the Bruins a 1st down as they cross into the Mullen territory.
So definitely some aggressive play call here by Creek. Definitely focusing more on a pass offense than a run offense so far.
So with 5:38 left here in the first, the Bruins have a 1st down on the 38. So that pass will be sent out to Penry, who will go ahead and pick up a gain of 8 or 9. As Penry has had 115 yards receiving this far. And the Bruins have a very nice core of both receivers and backs that really, they can call just about any play that they want.
Absolutely, and their wide receivers are big. And if you look at these Mullen defensive backs, they're a little bit smaller. They're very agile, they're very quick, but they're not as big as Gunnar Helm, as Dante Orlando, as Chase Penry. And I think that's why we're seeing, you know, a bigger reliance from Creek on the pass, because they know their receivers can separate from the DBs.
And as the Bruins will rush that one up to the 35, it's good for another 1st down. And they have found their way deep into Mullen territory with 4:50 left in the first. Now, by this point last week, I think that Miles Purchase probably already had 2 touchdowns. And we are scoreless here. As the play action now Try to find a receiver, and he'll find him, but he is taken down. Quite the tackle there, but able to haul it in.
That's going to be number 42, Jackson Heel. He's one of the smaller players in Creek's defensive backs, but, you know, like we were talking about earlier, they're big, they're fast. I mean, they're not big, but they are fast.
And I think speed is the good way that you can define this Creek team, as on both sides of the ball, obviously rushing, but their corners have made quite the plays. When it looks like that they might have been a few steps behind on defense, they've really been able to make some diving layout plays. As Hammond's pass cannot find a receiver, so we'll set up 3rd and 5 once again. So Hammond will go into the huddle as the Bruins have 3rd and 5 on their 20. As Hammond snaps and rolls out. Has to get around to Manick, rather. But he's able to find a receiver. The Bruins will set up 1st and goal here on their first possession of the game.
And watching that play, you just see Mullen sell out. They expect Hammond to take the ball up, and the defensive backs rush forward, lose Gunnar Helm in the process. Gunnar Helm's open, and Hammond's got him with the pass.
So 1st and goal from the Cherry Creek 5 as they'll try to punch one in on their first possession. 3:38 left in the first. 2 receivers on both sides. As that one, Helm, the intended receiver, cannot be hauled in. So the Bruins are taking what looks to be a lot more chances in the air, just not been able to find the right guys. But, man, it looks like the Hammond's really been throwing it hard in there.
Yeah, this has been surprisingly successful for them so far. Makes me wonder if James Walker and Jaylee Stacks are going to see much action tonight.
As timeout called in from the Mullen sideline. Here as the clock is still running. I think they're having some issues in the scoreboard room. And we'll try to have our scoreboard for you by the end of the half. That scoreboard is still running. So this far, it looks like the Bruins have been looking at the air game more than the run game, but do you think it will hold true? Because it hasn't for the beginning of the season.
It's hard to know where Creek is going to place their confidence here, simply because either of these could be successful.
So once again, 2nd and goal from the 5. As Stacks will go into motion on the top side of your screen. Hammer will look to the bottom, and in for the score. The Bruins take the early 6-0 lead as number 6, Chase Penry, will get the touchdown.
I mean, that play really just happened like clockwork. Chase Penry was wide open. But, you know, Dave Logan and his offensive team are very good about providing a wide variety and a very specialized variety of plays so that on any given play, the defense doesn't know what to expect. But if Creek can just work Mullen with a pass offense, I think we could see, you know, mostly pass offense. This is the entire game.
Ventori now on for the extra point. He's been perfect this season. And as that one was low, might have been tipped, something along those lines, it's still straight through the uprights. And the Bruins have the 7-0 lead.
So without that scoreboard here, it's going to be 7-0 Bruins.
2:10 left in the first, and if you're joining us late or did not catch the beginning of the broadcast as we did not have it, Bruins kicked off, and Mullen went 3-and-out, punted. Cherry Creek muffed the return, and then Mullen got it back at midfield, to which they gained some more yards, lost of some Creek penalties, and Creek got the ball back, scored the touchdown, so here we are. That should get you all caught up here. 2:10 left in the first once again.
So as far as total yards for the Mullen offense, it is 0. And for Creek, I believe it's about 80 right now.
As this kick is taken in the end zone and will be called for the touchback, so Mullen will take over on their own 20. So the Bruins defense is ready to go, and something we want to talk about is those corners once again. Of course, Miles Purchase, you got Al Ashford, you got Delonte Dickey, you got all these guys all over the field where really you can be confident that all the receivers are covered at all times. It's 7-0. And that will have to do for now. We'd like to thank our director, Chloe Park, for getting us a makeshift scoreboard for now.
So Mullen's first yards of the game there, but he will be tackled by Delonte Dickey for only about a 2-yard gain.
That's not good. Is it done updated?
It's Mullen there with the handoff, a fumble. Creek doesn't recognize the fumble in time, and that ball is going to be recovered by a Mullen offensive lineman. Be 3rd and 10 for Mullen from their own 20. A net gain of 0 yards so far for them. So already at play, the tactical brilliance of Dave Logan. He's on the sidelines here telling his defenders who the ball is going to go to. And he called it right. He said it's going to be a deep pass to the right-hand side of the field, and that's absolutely what it was. So Mullen out to punt for their 3rd time tonight.
And that's really only on 2 offensive possessions.
Mullen still with 0 total yards.
Oh, as it looked like lots of Bruin defenders closing in on the punter. And it will be down, gonna have to guess, that's right around the 35. And the Bruins will take over once again.
So I'm not really sure if the clock was going there. I believe after the Creek play, it was 2:10. Sorry, the Creek touchdown, it was 2:10, and it is still 2:10.
Someone's having some issues up there tonight, but I'd say that's probably fair for the amount of times that the clock ran that it was not supposed to.
And now the clock's back to 7:56.
So after a Mullen penalty, Kruk will move that up, but still, who knows what's going on with the scoreboard. 7:56 is what it reads. Can tell you that the game time is not actually close to that. As that pass over the middle is caught, hauled in and brought down inside the 35, 25 rather, and down to 22.
So that's going to be number 5, James Walker, with the reception there. And that, he had 10 yards after that catch carrying a Mullen defender with him, and that is just a testament to the size of Creek versus the size of Mullen. Creek they have a bigger set of wide receivers compared to the Creek defensive backs, and I think that's one major reason why they've been relying so much on the pass game throughout their first 2 drives here.
So after the big gain in the air, the Bruins 1st and 10, back inside Mullen territory. So another shot over the middle is taken, down a little high and incomplete.
So I think at this point in the game, we'd probably be at the end of the first quarter. But
clocks read 0. But who knows?
Refs certainly aren't acknowledging that it's the first quarter. So something's going on up in the Mullen press box.
That might just be the story. It is Friday the 13th, so something's got to go wrong. And thank God it's nothing more than just a scoreboard not working. So 3rd and long now for the Bruins, but they've had no trouble here all night as they've been able to convert what's led to that first touchdown.
It's a very similar play to before, very similar setup. 3rd and 8 on the 20, just trying to get into the red zone here. We saw this last drive.
And I believe that will mark the official end of the first quarter, but who knows, as the 12 minutes is now being instructed to be put on the clock for the second quarter. But as the team switch sides, we'll take a quick break and be back right after this. And we're back with you now for the second quarter here from Mullen High School as the Cherry Creek Bruins have the 7-0 lead. And they're closing once again. It is 3rd and long as Hammond's scrambling, and he's going to take it himself. As the ball might have come loose. Mullen says that they have it.
On a quarterback keeper, we have a fumble.
And after some contemplation, they say down by contact, so it will bring up 4th and short for the Bruins, and I don't think there's any reason to believe that they won't go for it.
It's been their strategy all season to go for it on 4th and short, especially within the red zone, so I don't see any reason they'd change it now.
And Cherry Creek will burn their first time out of the half, and the scoreboard is running. Who knew?
Clearly the play clock operator does not know.
And as the Bruins take timeout, we're going to take a quick timeout as well to thank our sponsors over at Stafford Orthodontics. Delivering amazing smiles for the Cherry Creek Bruins, and of course, over at Drive Safe. We love, of course, thank you for our sponsors all season long here on the Cherry Creek Sports Network. As the Mullen student section came out strong tonight, very loud. Can't say the same for the Cherry Creek student body, but it's okay. You don't always need to travel well to win games. So 4th and short, and the Bruins look like they're coming out in a run formation as people are shifting right. And the handoff to the right looks to be good enough for a first down. And the Bruins will have another first down in the red zone early on here in the second quarter. So as Hammond will send Helm in motion, he's going to roll out to the right. The pass into the end zone for the touchdown as the Bruins with the early 2-score lead.
And Hammond is a gifted quarterback, but he did not need to be a genius to see.
And Gunnar Helm is just
Helm open with that one.
He's just, running the routes, and he's finding himself wide open, and next thing you know, the ball's in his hands, and the Bruins have the 2-touchdown lead. The extra point is up and good once again. And the Bruins are looking good here with 10:57 supposedly left in the second.
So with just over 13 minutes into the game here, Creek has already scored 14 points. Meanwhile, Mullen, 0 yards of total offense.
You hate to see it. I mean,
yeah, you really hate to see it.
This Cherry Creek defense is really just something else, though, this year.
Kicking off for the Bruins will be Alexi Sanchez Ventura.
As Ventura with the kickoff. Sends that one deep once again. Take it inside the 5. The Bruins got down there fast. And he is brought down.
Ball received by Damian Kearns of Mustangs. Defended for the Bruins by number 8, Enoch Wolfham.
So here's another chance to get a good look at the Cherry Creek defense, which has caused three and outs this far, as Mullen has been able to run just over 10 plays total.
This is the same Cherry Creek defense that opened up by giving Mullen some 40, 50 free yards here. So
As that run is swallowed at the line. Well defended there by the Bruins. And Mullen comes out with 4 wide receivers on the bottom, 1 at the top. No backs, so can assume they'll send this one to the air. As that one is just threaded. Able to break some tackles until he's taken down to the 40, but big gain there for Mullen. And, you know, I don't know if we've seen a play that long, except for maybe that trick play that Santa Margarita ran.
And Miles Purchase, kickoff return for a touchdown last game. But man, that was a great play for Mullen to finally get some yards.
As we're inside 10 minutes in the second. As Mullen will have 2 wide on the bottom and 1 on the top, and the Bruins will jump off sides. And it will become 1st and 5. Your mic's still on.
An impressive play there by number 22 for Mullen, Damian Cerns. He is somebody that Dave Logan was talking about all week as being one of Mullen's best assets, a very strong, very agile player, and his agility is shown there as he hurdles a Creek defender. Unfortunately, that's going to also be called back on number 22 from Mullen, the same player who just had that outstanding play. Personal foul. But Mullen lined up in an identical formation to that previous play. Damian Kearns is going to take that once again. So Mullen here with a 2nd and 12 from what appears to be about the 50-yard line. So that's going to be Michael Brolette with the reception and some 10-15 yards after catch. But Mullen is walking back to where they started the play from. Once again, another foul on Mullen. It's going to be on number 45 for Mullen, Micah Kress. So now Mullen with 2nd and 20. Almost sure to see a pass play here. Penalty called by the line judge. There's going to be a false start on offense number 61. That's going to be Mullen. It's going to go back for them again, and they're going to have a 2nd and long and some more. So Mullen here, 4 receivers. Excellent pressure there by the Creek defensive line. Although they couldn't get the tackle, they had 3 defenders on Mullen's quarterback. I believe that's going to be number 14, Kyle Remington, who just eventually realizes he's got to throw it away. But that's certainly not going to do Mullen any favors either. Nonetheless, Creek gives Mullen, I believe, a 10-yard penalty here and a repeat 2nd down. So it's going to be 2nd and about 15. So Creek calls a timeout here. So just 8 minutes remaining in the second half. Mullen halfway down the field. They're going to try to punch out these last 50 yards for a touchdown as Creek leads them 14-0. You see here now on your screen defensive coordinator Dean Doherty talking to both his students and his athletes. Greek is going to set up here with quite a few defensive backs. Definitely an emphasis on a pass rush as well. Doherty recognizes how much pressure the Creek defensive line is able to put on Mullen quarterback Kyle Remington and how that can force him to make decisions that aren't as good as what they could be. And again there, Creek's defensive line overpowering Mullen's offensive line, getting at Kyle Remington, and Remington having to throw the ball away early to a receiver that wasn't even looking. So definitely a strategy that's working out well for Creek so far. Lots of pass rushing. And that's going to force Mullen for a 3rd and 15 conversion play here from their own 45. Definitely looking to pass here as they have 4 receivers to the left. To their right. And folks, we have got a scoreboard for you. Amid some technical difficulties, we have finally been able to get it out for you.
Well, here we are. It's almost like it's a real CCSM broadcast, and whatever that was before was just a practical joke.
That's going to be Mullen's number 22, Damian Kearns, once again. Damian is somebody, I was mentioning earlier, Damian is somebody who Dave Logan talked about all week as being a serious threat to the Creek defense. He is a strong, fast running back, and he is certainly somebody that college scouts are looking at.
So 4th and long, and it looks like that Mullen will be in the punt formation once again.
So I believe that's Mullen's 4th time punting tonight.
And it's a direct snack fake. He's going to come to the near side, but he'll come up well short.
Interesting, funny trick play there. Mullen punter pretended like the ball went way over his head. Got me there.
But the direct snap, and I don't know if that's a practical play on 4th and long. Maybe just trying to reduce the threat of Miles' purchase.
You know, the way the Mullen coaches reason it, it's either Creek gets the ball at the 30 or Creek gets the ball at the 20. And if they have a better shot at, you know, getting that conversion, then maybe they'll be willing to, you know, have the off risk of Creek getting the ball 10 yards ahead.
So the Bruins take over now with the short run up the middle. So Alex, switch the possession, and that's 1st and 10. Or 2nd and 10 now.
Daly, Jack, ball carrier.
It's going to be about 2nd and 8 here.
As Hammond will send that one over to Orlando for another short gain. We'll bring up another medium-sized 3rd down for the Bruins with 6 minutes left here in the 2nd.
Looking to be about a 3rd and 5. So I think we can expect to see Creek go back to this pass offense that has been working out so well for them so far.
So they have 3 receivers on the top, 1 on the bottom, but they're just going to hand it off to Pedry. Excuse me, James Walker. Nonetheless good. Good for the 1st down.
And interesting by Mullen there. They stacked the box and they still couldn't stop James Walker. Creek already into Mullen territory with a 1st and 10.
And we are inside 5 minutes of this 2nd quarter.
So,
and the Bruins call time out.
That's going to leave them with no timeouts left, I believe.
So as the Bruins will go over some plays in the huddle.
And this has actually been a question so far throughout the game. Is there a play clock? Where is it? And who's keeping track of it? Because the De La Salle Stadium doesn't appear to have a play clock on it.
An issue that the Bruins ran into last week as well as the play clocks were out but not running at Stutler Bowl.
I only trust the refs to be keeping track of that, as I'm sure they am.
So 1st and 10 with 4:44 left in the 1st half. As Hammond's going to send one deep, and it's going to be well overthrown as he's taken down as he throws, and it will be incomplete.
So I believe 7 pass rushers there. 6 or 7 pass rushers there. And Creek's O-line still able to keep Hammond safe for a few seconds. But those 6-7 pass rushers still did get to Hammond, and he maybe wasn't able to make one of the more accurate throws that he can make.
So that brings up second down. As Orlando will be isolated on the bottom of your screen. As Stacks is put into motion, the Bruins will hand it off, and he is taken down. What looks like to be behind the line. So it will be 3rd and long for the Bruins.
Mullen sideline very loud here, hoping for a Mullen stop.
And there is a flag throw, and as it looks like that, the offense is backing up.
So that's going to be an after-the-play foul on number 76, Domingo Prince II, Creek offensive lineman.
Maybe just some extracurriculars there.
Extracurriculars, right. So that's going to put Cherry Creek at a 3rd and something like 22?
25 is
25.
what the call officially is. Long way to go. As it will be a short screen. Good for maybe a short gain, but I think we might see the Bruins punt team, which has become a rarity.
So out to punt is going to be number 11, Gunnar Helm.
Very interesting, as Gunnar, of course, the tight end wide receiver, but I guess he's turned punter tonight. As he drops that one, but very good punt. It's very high. The fair catch called and hauled in. Looks to be inside the 20. Good punt there for the Bruins.
I mean, if you're going to punt, you got to punt it right, and dang, could Gunnar Helm punt it right.
So Mullen will take over inside. Got 4:10 left in the first half as the Bruins, of course, jumped out to the early 2-touchdown lead.
Gives them just about 250 seconds to traverse about 75 yards. It's going to be a quick pace for them.
As they bring out got 5 wide receivers. And after one is put in motion, it is just handed off and defended well by the Bruins.
Tackled, stuffed there. Most of Mullen's personnel is out, in the wings, preparing to be a wide receiver, almost as if they're about to go on a route. But when Mullen hands it off, they have no one else to block other than the offensive line, so they're not really getting all that far.
So on second and long, the pass out to the far sideline, and he's ruled out of bounds. Incomplete, so 3rd and long. Mullen's just really not been able to pick up too many yards.
This is going to be a crucial conversion for them here, because if they can't convert, they're going to have to punt, and that severely diminishes their chances of scoring any points this half.
So 3rd and long, as there's a receiver in the motion on the bottom of your screen. He's given the ball, makes a move to cut back in. And there's a late flag thrown there.
Looks to be like some sort of personal foul after the play penalty.
And Damian Sern's on your screen right now for Mullen. Looks like he might have gone into it after the play with a Cherry Creek defender. And as we have a personnel change.
There's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on Damian Kearns. Or is it it's unsportsmanlike conduct on
Cherry Creek is what it looks like.
Yeah, my apologies. My apologies.
And that's really the only way that Mullen seemed to get some yards tonight is off of the penalties.
It is truly not something anybody wants to see out of Creek. Unsportsmanlike conduct, much less unsportsmanlike conduct that's giving.
So as the pocket is collapsing. The Bruins get to Remington. The ball jarred loose, but Kyle Remington already brought down before he lost that one, but Bruins got to him there.
Some anger coming from a few of the coaches on the Creek sideline. Directed at the refs, it appears.
But it is 2nd and long.
So Mullen not appearing to be in any sort of haste as the clock runs down here.
Inside 2:30 now.
Really no haste at all.
So they're going to look to the bottom of your screen as Ashford for the Bruins able to get the initial contact there. He's able to be brought down behind the line. So 3rd and another conversion coming up for the Mustangs.
The Mustangs really need to be looking to the sidelines. They need to be getting out and stopping the clock here because on that play they got 0 yards and yet they lost nearly 20 seconds on the play clock so far and perhaps some more here.
They're inside 2 minutes.
Yeah. They need to be getting to the sidelines. There's really no other way to put it.
As the pocket collapsing once again, trying to find a receiver coming over the middle, but that one incomplete. So we'll bring up 4th down again as it looks like Mullen's punt team will come out of the sideline. So the Bruins will have one more chance.
So most of Mullen's yards on that drive there are going to be coming from Creek unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
And let's see if Mullen has any more tricks up their sleeves on this punt. Good punt there as it's taken at the 15. Able to get around some tacklers, a stiff arm there, and brought across to the 35. So right around 90 seconds left in the half for the Bruins. They got right around 65 yards to go.
So this is really weird, actually. Creek fielded the ball with 90 seconds left. The clock ticked down to 1:24, and then the play clock operator stopped it. So Creek lost 6 seconds, and that's a good play.
As the pocket collapsing, finds Helm, who's wide open. He'll go down the sideline. And I'm not sure what he was doing there, as it looked like he stumbled. He was clear of all the defenders. Looked to slow down a little bit, but
yeah, very curious there. Maybe Helm was thinking, we'll score here with, 73 seconds left and give Mullen less of an opportunity to score when we kick off back to them.
Very similar situation to what a Todd Gurley did in the NFL last season. Wasn't trying to pad his stats, trying to help his team, and I'm sure Helm had similar intentions there. As inside a minute now, as the Bruins have what I believe is 1st and goal, as that pass is in for the score. The Bruins punch it in. Very short drive there. Maybe 40 seconds at most, but the Bruins able to get believe what was 65-ish yards. And they have the 3-possession lead.
So definitely a successful drive there where we see most of Creek's major assets being used. First of all, Miles Purchase with an excellent return. Then the connection from Julian Hammond to Gunnar Helm for some 60 yards. And finally a nice toss right in the end zone there.
Extra point straight through once again.
And with Sanchez Ventura, I feel like I could bet my life on his leg. He is absolutely accurate, absolutely strong. Somebody Creek Special Teams loves to have on their personnel.
So the Bruins are up by 21 inside of a minute in the second. I'm sure, well, you hope that Mullen just gets the ball and sends it to the locker room, but who knows? The Bruins will receive the second half kickoff. And as they are down by 3 scores, the Mullen student section not giving up any hope yet.
They are yelling, "Go Bananas, go, go Bananas."
And I'm sure they'd like to see their team go bananas.
Hopefully to the end zone first, but.
It's a deep kick there is taken right around the 10.
So the whistle blown, and then play clock continues for about a second or two. Overall, this adds up to, a few seconds here and there can add up to 15, 20, 30-second difference. And 30 seconds could be vital for Mullen here. So while both teams have to deal with this play clock, it's certainly not an ideal situation.
So Mullen in their huddle as we get a look at Al Ashford. He has an interception on the year. Quite the athlete in Ashford. A transfer last season. I believe he was in school up in Colorado Springs and was able to move. Very fortunate he is to play for Cherry Creek, as he expresses that.
And Creek is very fortunate to have Ashford playing for them. Mullen can't get to the sidelines there, and I don't know why, but they're not calling a timeout. The play clock is going to run, and Mullen with absolutely no haste.
So inside of what now is 20 seconds, looks like they'll set up one more play.
As we record it, Mullen should have 3 timeouts left. I'm curious why they're not using them.
But there is just 5 short seconds left. I don't know if they'll get a snap off at all. And that brings us to the end of the first half. The Bruins with a 21-0 lead.
I have no idea what just happened there. They just let nearly 40 seconds go by without attempting a play.
So the Bruins will head to the locker room with the 3-score lead. Cherry Creek 21, Mullen nothing. We'll be right at you. It's halftime. We'll be right back on the Cherry Creek Sports Network. Cherry Creek football on the Cherry Creek Sports Network is brought to you by Staffron Orthodontics, building signature smiles for your Cherry Creek Bruins. Bedford Barrison, Matthew Anderson back at you here at De La Salle Stadium at Mullen High School in Denver, Colorado. Bruins open up this game with a strong 21-0 lead. They're going to try to build the momentum and just get out of the game with the W here in the second half. Nothing too fancy necessary. Matthew, what do we get to see here in the second?
Well, from Creek, I think they're going to keep doing what they've been doing. And those two main things is they've been relying more on the pass than the run. They've been very successful with the run. And on the other side of the ball, the defense has been applying a lot of pressure with a lot of rushers, four very strong rushers pretty much every play, which is a unique contrast to some of their more typical defense, which might only have 3 pass rushers. And that's been very successful. By applying that pressure, they've been able to sort of fluster Mullen's quarterback, 14, Kyle Remington. And Kyle Remington has not been able to make some of the smart players that he is very capable of making. And that's really worked out well for Creek so far.
So the game is underway here in the second as that one will go through the end zone for the touchback. So Julian Hammond, very strong showing in the first half. Able to showcase the arm a little bit, which he didn't do as often in the first 2 games of the season. So Mullen really needs to build some momentum here, more than they have for this whole game. And as the short screen there, able to turn around and pick up a few.
Pass caught by number 81, Everett DeLott.
So second and what looks to be 8 for the Cherry Creek Bruins. As Hammond just pitches that one off to his left side. Able to go ahead for right around 5, and it will be 3rd and short for the Bruins.
Ball carrier James Girl.
So 3rd and 3 for the Bruins. Key conversion here. It's going to be the pitch once again as he turns to the outside and gets through, and he gets a big grade across to the 50. And as he's brought down as he crosses the Mullen, what looks to be 40, big gain there for the Bruins.
Ball carrier James.
And for James Walker.
Touchdown saving tackle.
But there is a flag down on the 30-yard line of the Bruins.
Flag of the play.
Bruins walking back here. That doesn't look like it's going to count for anything.
And it is holding.
And that's going to be a 10-yard penalty as well. So Creek is now going to have a 3rd and even longer.
So what was 3rd and 3 turns into 3rd and 10. And the Bruins are on the 30.
I think we're going gunner helm here. Yep. Oh, James Walker.
And as James Walker hauls that one in at the 45, it's good for Cherry Creek first down.
Pass complete to James Walker.
Defensive backs couldn't really cover any of those wide receivers out there. Chase Penry, James Walker, and Gunnar Helm were all out there, and all of them open with room to spare. Arguably, James Walker was the least open, and he still had a good number of 3 yards between him and the next wide receiver. Him and the next defender.
So as Hammond will look left, and that pass intercepted by Mullen. It's going to go back the other way, and that is the play that Mullen needed to build some momentum to start off this second half.
That's going to be Mullen's most favorable placement yet. Right now they are at, sorry about that. Right now they are placed right about at the 50, whereas before on all their previous drives, they've been having to start from around their own 20. So this is definitely one of their best opportunities throughout the game to score.
So Mullen's going to try to take advantage of the short field. And Remington will pitch that one off to his left side. And as the corners try to be turned, it'll be good for a short gain.
Ball carrier Ryan Hardy. Tackle made by Enoch Walker.
The Mullen student section, one of the most vibrant student sections we've seen, especially at an away game. Very exciting for us.
And as that ball is fumbled, it is on the ground, and it is going back the Cherry Creek way is what it looks like.
So something that I've heard Dave Logan talk about for the past 2 weeks is, well, Dave Logan runs a very analytics-driven Cherry Creek football team. And what he says is if they can have a turnover margin of +3, there's an 80% chance they win the game. So this really just goes back to, getting more possessions, getting more opportunities to score. And Creek took away Mullen's opportunity to score there, and now they have their own with favorable field position.
So with less than 3 minutes into the second half, each team with a takeaway and a giveaway, vice versa. And the Cherry Creek offense back on the field as they're going to go to that pitch play once again. And Stacks gets a good gain there to set up what looks to be 2nd and 5.
And so with this pass run play here by Jaylee Stacks especially, we see something that's very unique about Stacks. Most high school running backs either have vision or they have speed, but they don't tend to have both. But Stacks has this speed and agility that is very well complemented by his vision, and he recognizes holes in the defense long before he gets there, and he's able to weave through them, and that's what's made him, an Air Force commit.
And that's right, Mullen will take their first time out of the half as the Bruins look to be building some even more momentum after that good showing in the first half. And they're spotted inside the Mullen 40. Another short field for the Bruins, and really it makes it a whole lot easier. So as the Bruins will have 2nd and 5 coming out of the timeout. We're ready to go. As Hammond takes the snap and gives it straight to Walker as he'll find some space through the middle. Pick up a good gain, and we'll give the Bruins another first down.
Walker, the ball carrier. Tackled by Vince DeFeo.
So Hammond's going to look left. Finds a receiver, goes off his hands. That was Dante Orlando who opened up the scoring of this game.
Orlando.
So this run to the outside from James Walker is counted in for the score as he does break the plane. There is a flag down. And it will be holding on the offense. So as Hammond will have to scramble out of the pocket, looks like he's going to be brought down, and he's nothing he can do there except for protect the ball.
I think we see a play call here where Creek tries to get some yards, and they send Ventura onto the field. Being up by being up by 4 scores is a lot more powerful than being up by 3 scores. So Creek's just trying to get some more points as opposed to getting a full touchdown here.
So as Hammond rolls out, able to find Walker.
Pass received by James Walker. And brought down by Vince DeFeo.
As we take a look at some scores around the state of Colorado, number one team of the state, Columbine, picked up a 56-0 win yesterday. Regis Jesuit 42-7 over Highlands Ranch. And let's see if we get a score of the Valor Christian game. Valor Christian taking on Pomona 17-7. Of course, that game live on altitude, except that game might be a little hard for you to watch in the Denver metro area.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 33 on the defense. That distance will be tacked on at the end of the play. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So Creek gets a first down there off of a Mullen penalty. Mullen roughed the passer on that play, and that's going to give them an automatic first down and half the distance to the goal.
And the Bruins will put it in the end zone once again. It's Gerald Stacks.
It's going to be Jaylee Stacks once again. Absolutely fast, absolutely strong. We saw him power through several Mullen defenders there.
So once again, that Valor Christian Pomona game. Pomona, always a very competitive team, a team that Cherry Creek will face next week for their homecoming game Friday night at Stutler Bowl. That game will not be live on the Cherry Creek Sports Network, by the way. Check your local listings. But that game's sure to be a competitive one, as Pomona always a team that have given the Bruins a little bit of trouble. It should be a thrilling homecoming game.
Extra point by Alexi Sanchez Ventura.
So this is going to be a
Is good.
4-score game here. That would be, it's a pretty decisive lead as far as leads go.
And this Bruin team is really just running away with it again, as we've seen the last 3 weeks. So 6:47 here in the third. Ventura with the kickoff. And that one fielded in the end zone, so they touch back once again.
Ventura's kick. Caught by Damian Curry. First and 10 to the 20 for the Mullen Mustang.
And really, that Mullen student section really just not giving up hope. They're down by 4 scores, but might just be a minor detail. Don't have to tell them that.
Definitely some next level energy from their sideline.
And there's some movement there early before the snap. We'll have to see who was first. And it will be a false start, so 1st and 15 is what Mullen will have.
False start offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 1st and 15.
So Mullen had an 80-yard drive to the end zone, and now they've got an 85-yard drive. Certainly not favorable distance to have to traverse.
As Remington looks to his left, finds a receiver in the screen, and able to run up the sideline for a sizable gain. And it will be 2nd and short for Mullen.
Pass caught by number 10, Ben Marcoux.
As a snap from Remington now. Finds over the middle, complete
To number 22, Damian Kearns.
Pass to Damian Kearns. Tackle for the Bruins by
And that'll be good for a first down. So it looks like that Mullen started to move it just a little bit. They're going to the no huddle, picking up the pace.
One of the first times tonight we've seen a rapid pace from this Mullen offense.
And he was looking for Kearns once again over the middle, but looked like that Enoch Woolfolk was ready for that one. So he knocks that one down.
pass intended for Clayton Barden. Incomplete.
Just an inaccurate throw. Enoch had a chance to intercept it there, but it was a low ball, very difficult catch.
So 2nd and 10 for Mullen. 6:04 left in the third quarter. They're going to run it.
Hand off to Ryan Harty.
And that handoff there to Ryan Harty on,
Brandon Juxman.
Ryan Harty for Mullen. He's just going to run into a wall.
And it's going to bring up 3rd and long.
A wall of linemen.
And it looks as Ryan Harty, the fullback, limps off to the sideline. Not good there. As that pass over the middle to Kearns, the intended receiver, misses the mark again. They've ran that play, I believe, 3 times in maybe the last 4 plays, and he's been open, just not able to connect. And Mullen will bring out the punt team on 4th and long. Miles Purchase will put himself on the 23-yard line, ready to field this one. Back deep for the Bruins. As that snap is low, but the punt is long as Purchase takes it across to the 40. Tried to find some space and gets it back to midfield. So that sets up another short field for the Bruins.
And the anticipation just builds inside you when you know Miles Purchase is about to field a kick or a punt, because you know he's got a decent shot at taking it out of the way, and if he doesn't, he's going to go a fair amount of distance. So definitely another great return by him there.
So as Hammond hands that one off to Walker. So Walker breaks some tackles, finds some space through the middle. Gets a big gain.
Tackled by Team Mustang.
.445, the pitch to the left. So Walker's going to get through a hole and get to the first down. Bruins are moving it now.
Made by Jonah Villanueva.
That run now back over here to the near side. Good for another good Dante Orlando.
Tackle made for the Mustangs by Matt.
And the Bruins now in the no huddle. As Walker gets the runs again and has a hole on the right side.
Ball carrier James Walker.
But it will be 3rd and short for the Bruins. As Pockets Classic, as Hammond rolls out to his right and will slide. Be good enough for the first down.
Skelton first down, 1st and 10. Bruins.
As time's ticking down in the third, the Bruins have a new set of downs. Driving well downfield once again. As Hammond's snap is handed off once again. And it's a short gain for the Bruins. As Dante Orlando will go to the top of your screen. Hammond rolls out that way. Finds the receiver. I don't believe he got a foot in bounds. It is incomplete. So third down now for the Bruins.
So Mullen got a lot of pressure on Julian Hammond there. They got a couple of guys into the pocket, but then they seem to have stopped and almost just sort of stood there as if they were anticipating Julian Hammond to throw the ball. Definitely they missed out on perhaps a sack opportunity there.
As they're going to hand it off to the left now. He's going to turn the corner. And it's going to be close.
It's going to be James Walker again.
And Walker's able to pick up the first down.
Much like J. Stacks, he is the synthesis of a running back with great vision and the running back with great speed. Something you don't all that often see together.
And, you know, the Stacks Walker combo really, you could consider it lethal because either one of them really has the skill set to do whatever it takes to get the ball in the end zone.
And we see the coaches trading him in and out. You know,
that's a great haul in there as another Cherry Creek touchdown. It's Chase Penry. What a haul in there.
And Penry certainly a great compliment to that duo of Walker and Stacks, making a trio of excellent running back, wide receiver, flex players.
So as the Bruins get ready to extend their lead to 35 as they're just inside 2 minutes in the third quarter.
And Alexi Sanchez Ventura with that A+ kicking rating so far this year. Nothing missed yet.
Our score now 35 for the Cherry Creek Bruins.
So Miles Purchase, not so much a part of this game as he was last game. It's hard to live up to what he did last game. Miles had 2 plays that were just absolutely outstanding within the first 3 plays of the game last week. Kickoff return for a touchdown and a pick 6. But he is certainly somebody that we've seen this game, seen a couple of nice returns out of him, seen quite a few great tackles. And I was speaking to him this last week, and he's still not sure, what he's doing for college, but he did say that he is entertaining the notion of CSU, and he went to CSU football game, had great seats for their game against an incoming team. He said he really enjoyed that experience.
And don't get me wrong, I'm obviously not being recruited for football, but pretty good side there. As that return for Mullen brought across to the 45, and just to wrap that up, Coach Bobo and down at Fort College, starting to put together a good team. And there's always lots of great in-state talent, both on CSU and CU, and that CU-Nebraska game last week, a lot of former Cherry Creek Bruins were showcased, and they made big plays, which allowed the Buffaloes to get that big rivalry victory.
Absolutely, and the Buffs are a team that we've seen, lots of Creek alumni going to. If you go to any Buffs game, you're sure to see many Creek players out there on the field, one of which who will be joining them next year is offensive lineman Carson Lee, number 75. an absolute unit of a player.
As that one is a shot deep, and it is overthrown and incomplete.
And I couldn't get any specifics on where exactly number 22, Damian Kearns from Mullen, is thinking about going, or if he's thinking about going anywhere. But Dave Logan is certainly very impressed by him. He seems to think that Damian is one of Mullen's best players. And, boy, has he shown it tonight with this nearly 50-yard kickoff return just recently here.
So as that play stopped short very quickly behind the line, another 3rd and long, and really every single time that Mullen's this 50-yard return, the interception, they have a shorter field, but really just not able to take advantage.
Not able to take advantage, and Creek has been able to take advantage both of the short drives and the long drives.
So inside of a minute now, the clock rolling for Mullen, who is at midfield. So they'll send one in motion and roll out, but he is met by a Cherry Creek defender.
Dang. He just got...
It is Delonte Dickey.
I believe the technical term for that is pancaked.
And that will have to force Mullen to punt.
Mullen's definitely a little bit trigger happy with the punting.
And I believe that will be Delonte Dickey's 2nd sack of the year.
Certainly more to come from him, though.
And his purchase will muff that punt. And it looks like it's going to go the Mullen way. And that brings us to the end of the 3rd.
So 2nd muffed punt from Creek there. And altogether, those muffed punts have given Mullen, I believe, almost an entire field length. Which is nearly the amount of total yards they have this game. So certainly muff punt's not a strong suit for Creek here.
It's a little chillier in the air than it has been on some of our other game nights, and we have entered the month of September. The Bruins will switch sides. And Mullen will have the ball inside the Cherry Creek 25. Very short field to go. We'll be right back at you on the Cherry Creek Sports Network. Back at you now for 4th quarter action. As Kearns try to make a move onto the right side, pick up a short gain. And I think that we can safely say that Mullen is currently in good field goal position, so maybe they'll just put some points on the board.
Not come to that yet for them, and they're certainly hoping to get to the end zone here.
So as the snap to the left given to him, and he is swallowed and picked up. Marcus Alexander bringing all of his best stuff there. Oh my goodness.
That is why I do not play football.
I got a feeling he'll be saying that play again soon.
Among other reasons.
So after all the yards gained on first down, it looks like that they were lost on second. So 3rd and 10 for Mullen. Going to roll out to the left. Send one. And that pass just overthrown the intended target is Ben Marco. And it brings 4th down for Mullen. It's shortest field they've been on all night. It looks like they got a decision to make, and they've already made it. They will go for it on 4th and 10. Mullen just wanting to put some points on the board. They're down by 5 scores. As Remington takes the snap. The pocket is collapsing. He's going to roll out to the right. Receiver found. Incomplete turnover on downs. Bruins get the ball back with 10:54 left in the 4th game. The 4th.
Pass intended for Damian Kern. Broken up by Enoch Wolfel.
Thank you.
So on that play there, Creek just applying their signature pressure that Dean Doherty has been so emphatic about. So, placing an emphasis on, making sure that Creek gets that pressure on Kyle Remington because it's forcing him to make quick decisions and not allow his looks to develop very far. So Creek's defensive line really playing a great game here tonight. Things he did here.
Big late hit there. Flags being thrown after the huge gain.
Definitely some emotion here.
And after that long run by Walker, he absolutely laid into the Cherry Creek sideline.
I think we've already seen 2 or 3
sportsmanlike, yeah.
Yeah, and sportsmanlike conduct, personal foul after the play.
And it will be a late hit on Mullen, so 15 yards and added to the end of that one for James Walker. And
They're going to spot it 15 yards forward.
So I think that will put Creek back into the red zone where they have obviously been dominant tonight, that you can see by the score.
Absolutely. And I mean, you can't be committing unsportsmanlike conduct. That's something you can control about yourself. And what Mullen's just done to themselves is they've made it, 2 times as easy for Creek to get to the end zone. They only have to go 17 yards now, whereas before they had to go 32. And even if Creek doesn't make it to the end zone, they've just made it easier on the absolute force of Alexi Sanchez Ventura to kick a field goal. Not that any scores at this point really happen to matter.
Yeah. I think the window of opportunity as the door's almost shut on Mullen.
And so something that we're maybe anticipating is, the presence of some maybe Creek backup varsity or JV players in the game. We've seen that the last 2 games as Creek has had pretty decisive leads towards the end of the game. They've been putting in starting JV and backup varsity players. Always fun to see them and some of our other students on the field as well.
Second down, 10.
And that run over to the near side, good for a short gain. So 3rd and long for the Bruins. And it is down at Pomona in the 3rd quarter. Valor Christian still has the 10-point lead. Both those teams, of course, 1-1 after a very surprising loss for Valor last week. They were playing an out-of-state team, as was Cherry Creek.
But it did happen to be an upset.
That does change the landscape of everything because Valor had the longest win streak in the state, stretching back to last season, but it ended last Friday night as that run is swallowed. So it's 4th and long, and I think the offense will stay on the field here.
It would, however, be a privilege to see the leg of Alexis Sanchez Ventura.
It really is. We see him not too often.
Yeah,
we'll put it that way.
We see him nail the PATs and destroy the kickoffs. Be nice to see a few field goals now and then.
So on 4th and around 6, it will be a pitch over to Walker. And I think he'll come up short, so it will be the turnover on downs.
Not a very favorable turnover on downs for Mullen here. They're going to have to go some 90-plus yards. Not been able to do it from 50 yet, so.
And they're on their own 8.
Yeah.
So not in a particularly favorable position as 8-12 remains in the contest.
And just as we predicted, Creek's backup varsity and JV is on the field with defense. In particular, I see Charles McKeever, number 21 for cornerback. Number 41, Thomas Fisher out there playing linebacker.
And I believe Austin Luring is in there. I don't know if he started this game.
I don't believe he did.
But the Bruins call timeout? Nope, it will be Mullen. That will be their second timeout of the half. And I think, if not all, most of the hope has been lost here at Mullen.
This is Mullen's opportunity to capitalize and potentially score. Creek's backup varsity JV team, they just happen to be smaller. They happen to be less physical. They're a great group of players and all great group of kids, but if Mullen can capitalize on their size over Creek's JV, they might have a chance at scoring here.
As this one will be up the middle. And a good gain there. Second and 5 is what Mullen has, and it looks like that they'll pick up the pace a little bit. And he's met at the line, so a gain of just a few feet, and it's 3rd down once again.
A crucial conversion here because you can't give it over to Creek on there in the red zone, so they're definitely trying to get these last 4 yards.
And he'll look to the near side where
wide open number 10 for
Ben Marco once again.
Mullen. Yes, Ben Marco. Just uncovered on that left side by Charles McKeever. This defense is not a starting defense, and so it's a little bit difficult for them to keep track and understand.
So the roll to the near side of the
rolls.
throw is overthrown.
Pass intended for Michael Bruin.
Put them at 2nd and 10. I personally think the best option for Mullen here is a more sustained drive. Just wear down the less physical Creek JV. They'll try to do that here with number 22, Damian Kearns.
As he'll get a gain of a few.
Putting them at 3rd and long. And I believe, looking at the scouting report here, that Mullen likes to run screen, ISO passes, and fade passes on 3rd and long particularly.
Has a snap and will roll out to the near side as he's hit. The pass hauled in. And Cherry Creek trying to argue that it is incomplete, but it is given to him. The clock rolls on inside of 6 minutes.
Yeah, certainly looked complete from here. And again, I think that's coverage that would not be missed by maybe a more experienced defensive personnel.
And as that run is stopped behind the line, and the ball's loose, and the Bruins will get it back once again. I think it's going to be another takeaway for the Bruins. And the Bruins get it back.
Some of the more junior players, they're very, very excited about that. Just contributing to that positive turnover margin that Creek's analytical play strategy so much values. Let's see, who do we have in for quarterback here? It's Garrett Niehoff, number 13. No longer is it Julian Hammond, it is his backup. So on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, Creek putting in backup players.
So it will be Garrett Niehoff. He gets the call for the 3rd game straight. And now it's just all up to the backups to get some reps with 5 minutes left in the game.
Keegan Holes, sophomore here. Ball carrier on the last play.
And the snap is over Niehoff's head. He's going to jump on top of that one. And after it's all said and done, that's going to be a really big loss. Oh, that's not looking good. As the down marker's just going to keep going down the field. That's 20-plus yards, if not 30. It's 3rd down.
So a 3rd and 20. We're probably going to see the arm of Garrett Niehoff here. In the hands of some of our junior and sophomore wide receivers.
And it's just going to be a screen as he makes some moves, breaks some tackles, does not quite make it back to the original line of scrimmage. It would be, it's definitely not field goal range. You would have loved to see Ventura from this far.
And the punting personnel will go in.
And it will be Gunnar Helm.
JV punting personnel, actually. Can't seem to figure out what's going on here.
That kick was blocked, picked back up by the putter. What? Not quite sure what happened. I don't know if he dropped it, if it was blocked, but
From my viewpoint, it looked like the ball fell apart, and
the ball was snapped, and the next thing I knew it was on the ground.
oh well. This is pretty much Mullen's last and honestly their best opportunity going against Creek's junior varsity. They've only got a 45-yard drive. The odds are really, really in their favor here to score, so hopefully they can capitalize on that, utilize some of their bigger, more physical players. Mullen sideline still very excited. A very elaborate chant over there. Involves many different groups of people, choreography, very complicated lyricism, very exciting.
.218 is left here in the game. Things looking. Bruins had a good showing tonight. We got to see Hammond's arm, which was new, different, but he was really firing it in there as that ball was on the ground. Defenders all over the place, and that pass is incomplete. So as Mullen will drop down to 2-1. Next week they are at Regis, which I'm sure will be a good game. Regis quarterback in Nico Markiel, a very strong sophomore quarterback, and for the Bruins, as we said earlier, it is Pomona for their homecoming game. As they will advance to 3-0, that pass completed over the middle.
So definitely two highly anticipated games next week.
As the clock didn't even run on that play.
You'll be able to catch the Creek game on Altitude Sports, but Altitude doesn't broadcast in the major Denver area, only the minor Denver areas. So if you're living in a more remote area of Denver, you may be able to catch it, but otherwise, unfortunately, you will not be able to.
Follow along on Twitter from at Cherry Creek SN, all of our social media platforms, and of course, after the game to see the play of the game. Of course, presented by our friends at
Strathon Orthodontics, the signature play. And as well, you'll see the drive of the game presented by Drive Safe.
Lots good. I think 5 good candidates tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll definitely have some more good candidates next week.
He's going to send one deep, but there's no one in the area. It is incomplete.
So that's going to be number 6 on the field, who's actually not even listed on the official roster. And he's certainly not number 14, Kyle Remington, who is the starting quarterback for Mullen. So I don't know who number 6 is, and I don't know why he's on the field. But
yeah, he's not on the roster.
No, absolutely not. Maybe they're trying to give
a JV player some time.
Yeah, JV player some time, or keep Kyle Remington safe, because not much that he can do here.
That pass complete over the middle once again, and Mullen's starting to get some more yards. And I believe our next broadcast on the Cherry Creek Sports Network will be October 4th against Overland. We'll be taking 2 weeks off against the Pomona game and the Chaparral game. If anything changes, of course we'll let you know via social media. But our next scheduled broadcast for football, at least, will be Overland. And that game, actually, a very unique situation where the game is at Cherry Creek High School at Stutler Bowl, but Cherry Creek will be acting as the away team as they share that stadium with Overland.
Yeah, Cherry Creek and Overland are part of the same school district, and as logistics worked out, Creek will be in their home field on their home campus, but they will be playing as the away team.
And the Bruins fans don't usually travel well to away games, but I think they share a home stadium. It's like if the Clippers and the Lakers were to play each other down in Los Angeles. I think we'll see two very loud student sections. You hope for an exciting game, as the Bruins are just a few kneels away from winning this one.
And we're going to see number 62, Andrew Regan, check into the game. Always very exciting to have him check in. Of course, his biggest sports moment, not in football, but in basketball, with a half-court buzzer beater.
You just can't teach that.
No, you absolutely cannot. Just an absolutely fantastic play. Seriously, one for the books.
That one, of course, all over Sports Center towards the end of last year.
Yeah, if you just go to our Twitter page and look for most liked posts, that one's going to come up. At like
that would probably be it.
Several thousand.
So as it is kneel down, that will be the end of the game.
Thank you all for joining us tonight.
As the teams will meet at midfield to shake hands. Your final score will be Cherry Creek 35, Mullen 0. It is a shutout for the Cherry Creek Bruins.
Not to say that this wasn't a great game by both teams.
And I'd like to thank our whole crew for joining us here tonight. Talia Bornstein and Carly Thompson helped us down there on the field, along with Jonathan Varghese, Emily Winkler, Chloe Park, Alex Schiff, of course. For Matthew Anderson, I'm Benjamin Paris saying good night. Say good night from Mullen as the Bruins pick up another weekend. We'll see you next time on the Cherry Creek Sports Network.